Welcome back to Behind the Mind. Infidelity is one of the most destabilizing experiences a person can face. It fractures trust, distorts reality, and leaves you asking 1,000 questions you can't stop replaying. If you suspect your partner is cheating, your mind will look for patterns, small inconsistencies, and hidden meanings in ordinary moments. That's natural. The problem is, fear and suspicion can make you act impulsively, and impulsive actions often make things worse. Today we're doing something different. This isn't a how-to manual for spying or invasive tactics. This is a careful, psychological, and practical guide to what to notice, how to gather information safely and legally, and how to protect your emotional well-being while you get clarity. If you think someone is betraying your trust, you deserve answers. And you deserve to handle the situation with dignity, strategy, and self-respect. First, understand what's happening in your brain when you suspect infidelity. Suspicion activates the same alarm system that fires for physical danger. Your heart races, attention narrows, you notice anomalies you once ignored. This hypervigilance is useful to a point. It helps you spot problems, but it can also make ordinary change look catastrophic. That's why we'll combine psychological insight with concrete, ethical steps. Let's begin with the behavioral clues, the things that commonly change when someone is stepping outside of the relationship. None of these on their own prove cheating. Taken together, patterns can point you toward a deeper issue. Sudden changes in communication. If a partner who was previously open becomes secretive about their phone, routinely deletes messages, turns their device screen away, or suddenly changes passwords and accounts, that's a red flag. Communication patterns shift first. Shorter replies, less sharing of daily details, fewer checking-in messages. The psychological explanation is simple. Secrecy creates cognitive load. People who hide things will often compartmentalize and reduce the flow of ordinary emotional information. Emotional distance and avoidance. A partner who withdraws emotionally, loses interest in shared plans, or seems to shut down when you try to connect may be protecting a secret. Emotionally, they may be managing guilt, cognitive dissonance, or an attempt to avoid exposure. That avoidance often looks like irritability, defensiveness, or sudden busyness. Unexpected changes in routine. New late nights at the office, spontaneous meetups with friends who are never seen, frequent unexplained errands. These shifts in time and availability can indicate a different allocation of attention. Again, alone, they're not proof. People's routines change legitimately, but repeated unexplained shifts deserve attention. Overly defensive reactions. When you ask a simple question and your partner responds with anger, derision, or gaslighting, telling you you're crazy or paranoid, that can be a tactic to deflect suspicion. Psychologically, the person under scrutiny tries to regain control of the narrative by invalidating your feelings. Signs of secrecy around finances. Unexplained withdrawals, new subscriptions, inconsistent receipts, or hidden accounts are practical forms of secrecy. Emotional cheating often precedes financial secrecy, but both together can indicate a deeper deception. Changes in intimacy or sexual behavior. This can go either way. Some people withdraw sexually when they're straying, while others may increase intimacy to soothe their conscience or to avoid detection. Notice not just frequency, but qualitative shifts. Clumsy avoidance, disinterest, or disconnection during moments that were previously intimate points to emotional distance. Social media behavior shifts, new friends, private accounts, sudden deletion of tags and photos, or unusual engagement with one profile more than others can be indicators. But social media is performative. Many people curate their online life without cheating. Again, look for patterns, not isolated acts. If you're seeing several of these changes converging, your suspicion is not irrational. That said, suspicion needs verification if you are going to act on it. Acting without facts often hurts the innocent and undermines your own position. So let's talk about collecting information, safely, legally, and without crossing ethical or criminal lines. Legal and ethical boundaries. Before you do anything, remind yourself, breaking into accounts, installing trackers without consent, recording private conversations, or invading someone's devices can be illegal in many jurisdictions. These actions can expose you to criminal charges, and they can destroy any moral high ground you might have. Don't hack, don't secretly install GPS devices, and don't coerce or intimidate. Instead, focus on open source, legal, and straightforward approaches: observation, documentation, and honest communication. Document what you observe. Keep a discreet, private log. Note dates, times, and concrete behaviors. Left at 10:45 p.m. said meeting, returned at 2:15 a.m. with a new cologne smell. Or changed bank app password on April 12, told me it was for security. That creates a pattern that's useful later, either for a calm conversation or if you need to consult a professional. Preserve evidence lawfully. If something is shared with you willingly, a message, an email, or a voice note, save it. Take screenshots in a way that preserves timestamps. Don't create false evidence or solicit someone else to lie. If you ever think legal action may be necessary, avoid deleting anything. Consult a lawyer before sharing evidence publicly. Avoid stalking or invasive surveillance. Following someone physically, hiring people to follow them, or confronting their friends aggressively is emotionally charged and often illegal. It also escalates the conflict and endangers both parties. Use your energy instead to collect neutral observations and seek safer channels. Use open inquiry before accusation. When you have pattern-based evidence, prepare a calm conversation. The goal is not to ambush, it's to invite transparency. Frame the discussion around your feelings and observations. I've noticed you've been coming home late and avoiding sharing details. That makes me feel disconnected. Can we talk about what's changed? This approach reduces immediate defensiveness because you're telling your internal experience rather than firing accusations. How to approach the conversation. Psychological steps. Choose the right context. Don't confront during a crisis or in public. A quiet, neutral place without interruptions is best. Use I language. Say, I feel, rather than you did. This lowers the fight response. Be specific and factual. Refer to the pattern you recorded. When X happened on Y date, I felt Z. Allow space for explanation. Listen actively. Sometimes changes have a benign explanation. If the explanation is plausible, observe whether the behavior shifts back. Watch for deflection or gaslighting. If the partner systematically dismisses your concerns, blames you for being insecure, or refuses to engage in specifics, that's meaningful in itself. What to expect in response? There are 3 common paths following the conversation: honest disclosure and repair. They admit it, apologize, and express willingness to rebuild. This still requires work, transparency, counseling, and consistent actions. Defensiveness and obfuscation. They deny everything and continue the pattern. This might produce more suspicion and may require setting firm boundaries or seeking outside support. No disclosure, but behavior change. Sometimes confronting suspicion causes someone to pull back from the extramarital interaction and return to the relationship, but note whether the change is sustained. Protect your emotional safety. While you pursue clarity, don't neglect your own mental health. Suspicion corrodes the mind. Put boundaries around when you check information, who you talk to, and how much you ruminate. Seek a trusted friend, therapist, or counselor to process your feelings. If you end up confronting a betrayal, therapy will help you make decisions with clarity rather than pain. Practical steps that preserve dignity. Limit reactive messaging. Resist the urge to bombard someone with accusations or repeatedly demand explanations in the moment. It pushes people into flight or fight. Maintain routines that anchor you. Sleep, exercise, social connection. These are stabilizers when your inner world feels chaotic. If you live together, consider temporary physical boundaries. You can choose to sleep in separate rooms or set expectations about communication while you process. This gives both parties space to act differently rather than escalating conflict. If you have children, keep their needs foremost. Protect them from confrontations and public airing of grievances. Children benefit from stability and calmness even when adults are sorting through infidelity. When to involve professionals? There are times you should bring in experts. If illegal activity is suspected, theft, financial deceit, or abuse, consult a lawyer. If you want information collected ethically and reliably, a licensed private investigator might be an option, but vet them carefully and ensure they operate within the law. If the relationship is important to save, couples therapy with a licensed clinician experienced in infidelity can provide a structured path to repair. Understanding motives, the psychology behind cheating. Infidelity isn't a single-story event. People stray for many reasons: emotional disconnection, unmet needs, opportunity, midlife crisis, desire for novelty, or unresolved trauma. Understanding the motive doesn't excuse the behavior, but it can inform whether repair is possible.
If the betrayal is part of a repeat pattern, tied to personality traits or addiction, repair may be much more difficult and require long-term work or separation. What repair looks like. If both parties want it, repair isn't quick, it's deliberate. It requires transparency, consistent behavioral change, and rebuilding safety. Trust is a felt state. It returns when actions reliably match words over time. Effective repair often includes full disclosure within agreed boundaries, clear changes to reduce temptation or opportunity, professional counseling, and new rituals of connection. Importantly, repair is a two-way street. The betrayed partner must be able to express boundaries and feel safe, while the betrayer must accept responsibility and undergo change. When to let go? Not all relationships survive cheating, and that's okay. You don't have to justify staying if your needs for safety and respect are non-negotiable. Choose based on patterns of behavior, not one-off remorse statements. If the partner minimizes the harm, refuses accountability, or repeats deception, staying will likely prolong pain. Legal and practical considerations post-confirmation. If you decide to separate, plan practically. Secure important documents, back up your accounts, and consult a lawyer about shared assets and custody if relevant. Do not use children as leverage. Prioritize safety and financial independence when planning next steps. Avoid public exposure as revenge. Some people are tempted to expose the cheating publicly. That may feel vindicating in the moment, but it damages reputation, complicates legal matters, and increases emotional harm all around. If you need to release emotion, do it with close friends or a therapist, not on social media. The final psychological truth. Infidelity shatters a contract that is often unspoken, the expectation of emotional safety and exclusivity. It's painful because those expectations are tied to our identity, security, and future. When that contract is broken, grief follows. Treat your grief with compassion. Whether you rebuild or walk away, healing is possible. It takes time, boundaries, and care. A short checklist. What to do if you suspect cheating. Observe patterns, document facts, avoid illegal or invasive tactics, preserve any voluntarily shared evidence, choose a calm time to discuss your observations, use I language and invite transparency, protect your emotional safety, therapy, friends, routines. If needed, consult legal or investigative professionals who operate within the law. Decide on repair or separation based on consistent behaviors, not words alone. Prioritize children's well-being and avoid public revenge. The path from suspicion to clarity is difficult, and there will be no single right choice for everyone. But acting from a place of preparation, dignity, and legal caution keeps you in control of your life, no matter the outcome. You don't have to be perfect in this process. You only have to be wise and self-protective and to honor your need for truth. Thank you for listening to this deep psychological look at how to approach suspected infidelity. If you found this useful, please like and subscribe to Behind the Mind.